Hello and welcome to another episode of the FPL Hangover podcast, where we raise the bar and lower the tone, all things FPL related. We are coming to you from the Republic of Ireland on the 22nd of February. The Crystal Palace Brighton match is pretty much done now, and we still have the Leeds and Southampton match to contend with. But all the cards are pretty much on the table now, and we know roughly where we're going with. So we've got a pretty bumper-packed episode for you this week, folks. We're going to be looking at pretty much all things double game week. I mean, that's all anyone's really focused about. And hopefully everything goes swimmingly, because it is windy and rainy outside, and God knows what the internet connection will do while that's happening. But as I said, it's windy, here to keep me safe. Another week with us, my podcast partner in crime, Paddy. How are you getting on, my friend?
How are you, Jer? Thanks for having me back. I'm 3 cans in here. I'm ready to drop some truth bombs again tonight.
We never discussed this before we started recording. I didn't even have a chance.
Jer, I'll not lie, Jer. I could be better. I could be better.
Oh yeah, how's is this in real life or FPL life?
Well, in real life, I'm a week in now, Jer. I'm off sugar for the taper length, and I'm kind of struggling.
Oh shit!
I can't call it a cup of brown joy anymore. Let's just say that.
What kind of sugar man are you now for the cup of tea?
Just the cheapest one, I just grab whatever.
No, how many sugar? Not what kind of fucking sugar.
2 sugars, Jer. Two sugars in the tea.
Oh, you're the same as myself, so I'm the exact same. 2 sugars. Oh, I don't think I could do. I mean, I was tempted to, as a young lad, no sugar in my tea, but all that meant was was no tea. Yeah.
I think I might go down that road myself. Jer, just for the international listeners there, I don't want to turn into the Bible radio or nothing, but it's just a thing that you do. You go off something you like for 40 days and 40 nights, isn't that right?
Yeah, I think all world religions have some sort of, fasting or giving up shit period. And this is the one for Republic of Ireland. At least that's what we grew up with anyway. I can't say I've been, abiding by that any time recently, like in the last 10 years. But getting back to the important stuff, Paddy. You've thrown me off with religion. I wasn't expecting that.
What was it, the sugar or the beer?
Religion,
go on ahead now.
Sugar. Oh god, what are you drinking tonight, Paddy? You're talking about beer.
I'm on the Kinniger. I'm on the Scraggy Bay. That wee one there for anyone who's on YouTube. Are we on YouTube?
We are on YouTube. This will be on YouTube. Yeah. So remember to like and subscribe. That was my showbiz voice, Paddy.
I like it. I wish I had known when I was on YouTube. I would have put on some aftershave.
We're not live though. You can still put it on. You can post. We can post produce some aftershave.
Dead on.
But yeah, I'm drinking. You recommended last week. Was it centralcraft.ie or craftcentral.ie? I keep putting the two of them mixed up. I think it's
craftcentral.ie.
Exactly.
Yes.
And they do great delivery in Ireland. This is not a sponsorship in any way at all. This is just reality of what I've been doing. So any of our Irish listeners that want to get in and have some craft beer, I really liked the fact that it was just £5 delivery, and next day, pretty much if you order before certain times, next day I was like, what? Why have I been drinking?
Really, really quick, wasn't it?
It was crazy quick. I ordered it on Friday and it was here today, Monday.
Amazing.
Perfect. And that was over the weekend. So again, not a sponsorship. This is just, what would you say, Paddy? A life hack? Is that what they're called these days?
Yeah, paid partnership. Go on ahead.
But okay. Now that we've done shilling for big companies and talking shit, let's get into FPL a bit more. How was your game week 25, Paddy?
Well, it's kind of hard to tell. It could be good or it could be fucking terrible. But at the minute, I'm already going to be reaping the benefits of 2 substitute appearances.
Okay.
Grealish, the Grealish gate, he's coming off, and Cavani, and I'm going to get Gundogan 3 and Taylor 6 off the bench. Okay. Captaincy is on Bamford, and my biggest scorer there is Fernandes with 12.
Yeah, I can see you were part of the Bamford crew. I was actually shocked at how many people captained Bamford this week. I was kind of, thinking, oh, am I taking a bit of a risk here? But fuck it, I want to enjoy the game week. So I'm expecting
Yeah.
lots of people to have played it safe and lots of Fernandez kind of captains, maybe the odd Danny Ings. But then I click into the mini leagues on Saturday after the deadline or whatever, and I'm looking at just Bamford, and I couldn't get over that. Like,
Yeah.
was it much of a doubt in your mind, or were you always putting on Bamford?
Do you know what? It was between Bamford and Ings for me. I was always going to do a double game week player. I just see these double game weeks and things. I just get blinded by them. I don't even look at single game week players. Maybe it's something I need to work on in the future. But look who's laughing now. The Fernandes captains.
It's
And I
not
never.
over yet, Paddy. It's not over yet.
Well, it's not. It's not. I was joking earlier in the week that maybe Bamford and Ings could turn into Haaland and Mbappe for us, and that would be quite sweet.
They're the talk of the town at the moment, but also the talk of the town. Like, we're speaking of Grealish there, and you call it Grealish Gate. I suppose that was the big, massive talking point this week in terms of mainstream news given out about team leaks, courtesy of FPL. Insider accounts and all this kind of rubbish. That was crazy. Like, I mean, that only happened today, but I'm loving that.
It's fucking shite, isn't it? Like, they're Aston Villa's banning their players now from playing FPL. Can't they not just make up fake names and stuff?
Oh,
Like they
100%.
probably do anyway when they're on Tinder. But the whole thing is with this Aston Villa shit. They posted 20 pictures, training pictures, and was Jack Grealish and having a pish whenever all these pictures were going up because he wasn't in one of them.
Exactly.
So why if they're going to blame anyone? Grab the guy that was going around, taking the pictures of the training.
100% with you, Paddy. It's like it's a bit much, but I get it. Whatever. I mean, whinge. Whatever. Distract from, the defeat. Was it Leicester they were playing this week? It was 2-1.
Yeah.
Leicester.
They're just raging. They're raging, and they're just
yeah.
looking to blame anyone.
Yeah, exactly. But still, I anytime I see FPL talked about in the mainstream, like, kind of news and just general sports media, I'm like, fuck me. This is a long time ago. This was never even be heard of, and now it's just constantly breaking into it. Whether it's like Paddy Bamford talking about captaining himself, and it just seems to be a lot more. And apparently, I read that apparently they are like pushing it in academies and stuff like that. So in terms of promoting it, like, they don't seem to have any problem with that. But
yeah, well, it's about time. I'm the same as you. Anytime I hear like a wee bit of FPL, even Gary Lineker and match of the day, I'm like, woohoo!
yeah,
I'm all excited,
Yeah.
excited laugh. Oh, look, they're talking about FPL, but it's like look at the NFL and all. It's just they go hand in hand.
yeah, no, that's the thing, and it's only going to get bigger. I think as a rule, I think it's just going to kind of get bigger and bigger. As you said, the NFL is kind of that model that they seem to be basing things on. But getting back to, I suppose, specifics, looking at the team there, you do still have, like, you're on what, 42 with Ings, Bamford, Rafinha, and that. Still with 4 to play. McCarthy as well, actually. So, like, 5 players still to play in that Leeds Southampton match. So, I mean, it looks like you're going to end up on a pretty healthy score. I mean, I can't imagine, like, there's too many different, like, differentials that could really fuck you up, considering you have pretty much everyone like left. McCarthy, Dallas, Rafinha, Bamford, Ings. Like, who's gonna fuck you up? Those who captain Ings, get out of here. You're laughing all the way to the end of this game week. Pressure
As
off.
long as if I can break even-ish, and not have, I'll probably have a red arrow, but I don't mind one that's just like maybe 5 or 10k.
Yeah,
I don't want a huge one.
yeah. Basically, the guts of a green. I'm kind of sitting on, or the guts of a grey, should I say? But I'm kind of sitting on, currently, is a tiny green arrow. I'm on 50 points. I've also captained Bamford, still have Rafinha to play, but no Ings, no Southampton of any kind. Similar to yourself, Paddy, Bruno sitting there with 12, picking up the double clean sheet for City was a nice kind of
sweet.
bonus. I just had a feeling. Like, I just decided that, are City ever going to fucking concede at this stage? Do you know? Unless it's a random fucking Everton goal or something like that. I just think they're going to be extremely tight between now and the end of the season. And with the rotation, the likes of, Diaz, Stones, Laporte knocking on the door, there's Cancelo, Kyle Walker. I mean, having two kind of covers myself, and I didn't outlay a whole lot on stones, so I kind of feel like two at the moment is pretty safe. But I mean, I'll have to start questioning that with the return of Mr. De Bruyne this weekend. That was big news, I suppose, FPL wise.
Yeah, that was huge news. That's kind of like perked my my ears up a little bit and made me want to activate this wild card. There's lots of things that are making me want to activate this wild card at the minute, but sure,
So you're
we can get into that later on if you want.
yeah, I mean, like, we can get into it now, Paddy. You're talking about game week 26, and that's what I think everyone's kind of asking questions about these days. We've looked at our teams, everything's kind of was the same as it was last week, but we're now on the precipice of, as you mentioned off air, the biggest double game week in FPL history.
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah, it's a big one. I think it's one of the biggest. And I could go through it. You probably have my team there. I think I have like how many double game week players? I have 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 or 10 double game week players.
Yeah.
I could. I mean, I could even bench boost. I think if I minus Ford, I could get rid of Grealish, and I could maybe get rid of Mitchell as well.
Yeah.
I don't. Mitchell's playing tonight, isn't he?
Mitchell actually started today, which was kind of a nice surprise for any Mitchell owners out there. But they've conceded. I think the last I checked, it was 1-1 in the Brighton Crystal Palace match. But they didn't keep a clean sheet, so that ended 2-1 to Crystal Palace. Benteke with a 95th minute winner. But no clean sheet for Mitchell. But yeah, you could upgrade Mitchell, get rid of Grealish. Are you set on Cavani? Like, you think he's going to shake off any knocks? Like, I think,
I
if
think
he's fit,
going
he
to
plays.
start.
Yeah.
I think he's going to start. I have no concerns over Cavani at all. I think he's going to start. And you know what? That means I would only have to change Grealish, and I could maybe change Grealish to like Barnes, or might even be able to squeeze in Madison and not even take a hit, and I could run with that. I'm well equipped for game week 26 looking at it, but it's the fear of missing out looking over at the guys with the Spurs players.
Yeah, that's the big assets that people are looking at this week is Spurs.
It's probably one of the main reasons why there'll be -8s, -16s taken this week. Wildcards galore. It's also a great time to wildcard because you could set yourself up well for the biggest game week in FPL history. We'll just keep calling it that. The next double game week as well. And you could get yourself ready for blank game week 29. Now, I don't want to go too far in, but with a wildcard, you could set yourself up.
You're pro wildcard. I can sense it coming off you right now. So what we'll do, we'll rewind it a little bit. We'll look at the fixtures, and then we'll come back and see where you are with wildcard wise. Because as you said, you have plenty of double game week assets in the team, and this week it was kind of confirmed. That was the other fantasy Premier League versus the Premier League that we didn't talk about at the top of the show. The other big news was the deadline. And fixtures release, 1 minute past the deadline. And I don't know, like, before we get into the fixtures, do you think that was on purpose? Is it a coincidence that, the whole FPL community is waiting with bated breath and they wait till it's just 1 minute too late?
It was an all-out attack. It was an all-out attack, Jer. The bastards had fucking graphics ready. They had copy and paste ready. They had the whole thing, just hit the red button. They nuked us, and they fucking knew what they were doing. Right after the deadline, at 6:30 on what day was it? On a Friday? Yeah. They always drop big announcements like that, don't they? On a 6:30 on a Friday. No, they fucking came for us. So, they knew what they were doing.
So you think they've declared war with the fantasy Premier League?
There was somebody back there chuckling. And per Brian Krillin, I would love to have been a fly in the wall in his house.
Oh no!
When they done that, but you know what? Fair play to Ben. He had it all sussed.
He did, and he is the courtesy of him. That's why you're seeing this beautiful graphic in front of you, if you're watching on YouTube. And it's all pretty much set in stone. It did come out a minute late, but it's done now. They've added. Was it Tottenham and Villa, I think they added to Game Week 29. That's been confirmed. So there's an extra match added to 29. And the Game Week 26 double for Spurs was confirmed as Burnley and Fulham away, not Burnley and Southampton, which was a possibility. But they're all locked in, and looking at them, as you mentioned, the heavily talked about assets this week are going to be Spurs, and it's got to be that home match against Burnley and an away match against Fulham. Maybe something that seemed a bit easier a month ago, 3-4 game weeks ago, but Fulham's recent upturn in performance and kind of results, it's got managers doubting it a little bit. I know that I've seen kind of plenty of pro Fulham, anti Kane captain narratives floating around the place. What's your thoughts on Fulham, Paddy?
Forget about Harry Kane. Let's get Maja, the best player in the world at the minute, straight into the team first in. Seriously, Fulham, do you know what? I'm hearing everything good about them, but yet here I am still afraid to bring one of the bastards into my team. Yeah. Do you know that kind of way?
I get you.
You know, they're looking good on the stats. They've some nice players, but will I be having any in my team? I probably won't.
I'm the same as you. I think in general, like, there's plenty to be said for how good they're looking, but with the exception of maybe Lookman, who does offer, he's probably the most talked about Fulham asset this season. He did obviously that miss that penalty, which is probably the reason he's so talked about more than anything. But 4 goals, 3 assists, 5 million, pretty much guaranteed to start. He started every game since game week 19, and I think there's maybe he didn't start 2 games this season so far. So you're guaranteed to start with him. 5 million is pretty pricey, but I'm the same as you, Petty. I'm not really looking at Fulham, per se. I just don't see, the attacking, you just they're the kind of team that you're happy to have as budget enablers and sit on the bench, but right now everyone's looking at who's starting. They're not worried about their bench unless it's something like a bench boost, and in that case, the likes of Ariola, Lookman, they're definitely coming into your thoughts. But someone not looking at the 15 players, I think you can get a stronger 11 out there without any Fulham in your team.
Oh, 100%, Jer. Yeah, maybe if you're looking for some kind of a bench boost and you've got 5 million as your last coin, yeah, and you want a playing player who can score goals and maybe assist, fine. But for me, 5 million is too much for me to have as my first sub. I'd rather have a Charlie Taylor in there, who's 4.3 or something at the minute, or 4.4. I will have to fact check that, but he's cheaper than Lookman anyway. So no, it's not for me at the minute. There's too many juicy fixtures here for this double game week. There's 14 teams playing twice.
Yeah.
The main ones that you want to be looking at are Spurs, Everton, and who's the other one? Maybe. Leicester, Spurs, Everton, and Leicester. I'd be kind of trying to sneak a few players in from them.
Yeah, I mean, because you're probably right. We've all got our City assets at this stage.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm not. Yeah. City would be in there.
But that's the thing with this game week. It's not just City and, it's kind of everyone. Like City, United, Liverpool. They're all Salah's playing twice. Fernandes playing twice. All your Man City assets are playing twice. So it's kind of like a whole... You'd be hard-pressed to not have, you'd be unlucky to not have 11 players, kind of at least 8 players playing twice. I think that's from what I see in a lot of teams. The majority of teams have minimum 8 players playing twice. Maybe not including the goalkeeper. But you're right. City, Leicester, and Everton. They're kind of Leicester and Everton specifically, as you mentioned, are kind of catching managers' eyes because I think everyone's kind of looking for that sneaky differential, that thing that's gonna give them the edge, because no one's talking about Fernandes outside of the captaincy shout, which we'll get to later on. Everyone, that's a given. If you've got Son in your team, he's staying there. That's a given. Salah's he's got a bit of explaining to do to a lot of FPL managers, but I guess we'll touch on that in a while. But for me, I mean, you're sitting there with Salah as well, Paddy, aren't you? You are.
Yeah, but he'll be a problem for wildcarders this week.
Yeah, true.
That'll be a headache. I'm sitting here, look, I have no Spurs. A lot of managers are going to be looking at Spurs, but I guess if you're trying to sneak under the radar, you might look at Vardy maybe instead of Kane. You might look at Maddison instead of Son, but have Kane. Yeah. But I think you need to have maybe one of each. I don't think I'm going to go double Spurs because at the minute it's the form that's the worrying thing. We often talk about form over fixtures and all that, but I think form's the main one for me. I think I'm a form guy over fixtures.
Yeah, and I think like with the double game week, people aren't really looking at the specific fixtures. They're looking at, is there two? I know for me, for a long time, I'm just going like, is there two this week? If there is, then I don't really give a fuck. I'm going to play my two City defenders. I don't really care if, it's West Ham and Wolves. I mean, obviously, I think the Wolves one. I mean, we've seen Wolves turn City over. We've seen some kind of high-scoring matches in Wolves and City. But I still feel like this one's going to be a pretty low-scoring match. I think West Ham, should give them a bit of a fight. But based on what they did against Liverpool, they might just roll over. That's kind of how I feel. I feel like I don't know how big they're going to come at City, put it that way. Either way, I'm happy to play my two City defenders. And I'm not really too concerned with the specific fixtures. I'm just kind of making sure they're playing twice. On saying that, I am benching, or at the moment looking at benching Loughton. I'm not too happy with Spurs and Leicester. I kind of one of my dilemmas, Paddy, and I don't know what you think about it is, but I'm thinking Bamford against Villa over Loughton. Playing twice, Spurs and Leicester. Would you be? Or would you be all about the double game week?
You see, I'm blind to the double game week, so I would have to play the double game week player. But then I like to play the attacker over the defender. So you've kind of got me in a rock and a hard place here. Bamford's playing Villa, and we've got he's all he can score. He scores goals, doesn't he?
He does.
But that's a tough one. I'd probably just maybe in that case I might go with Bamford. But in saying that, I'm 50-50 still. That's a tough decision for you this week, Jer.
Thanks, Paddy. You've helped me out a lot there.
That's what I'm here for. Have you got any transfers to make this week, Jer?
Yeah, well, that kind of brings us to the captaincy decision. I mean, I have one transfer this week. I'm the same as yourself. We're going into this one. None of us carried one over. And I've got my whole squad playing, I've got 11 players playing twice.
Yes.
Mitchell, my three bench would be Bamford, Rafinha, and Loughton. Or Bamford, Rafinha, and Mitchell. Maybe I play Loughton. I don't know. I've got basically a shit ton of 11. So my move would be Brewster out, Harry Kane in, and then potentially, and most likely, triple captain Harry Kane, which I might actually do tonight because I'm worried about the prices. And I know we say leave it as long as you can, but I literally can't do that move if a 0.1 shifts there. So I might just go straight Kane in, and then I'll have double Spurs. And I know you're kind of worried about those Spurs assets, but I already have Son. He's blanked in something like 8 out of 11 games. I don't feel I'm not going to captain him. Definitely not going to triple captain him. And I think make the most of the double game week, get a player in that I didn't have, and kind of have something to look forward to. That's the way I'm approaching it, Paddy. What about you?
No, yeah. No, look, I'm undecided. Look, of course, I'm reeking of wildcard here. I'm absolutely reeking of it. I'm like a dog with two dicks thinking about wildcards. I probably am more or less going to wildcard.
Okay.
And I think I want. You see, I have a few injuries there. I've got only 4 players that will play in Game Week 29. So I'm thinking on that as well.
Okay.
I want to attack Game Week 26, and I want to have a Spurs player in there. I want to have a Leicester player in there, and I'm not going to get there unless I do a -16 or something, and it's something I'm not really fancying at the moment.
Okay, so looking at your team there, right?
Yes.
Who are you looking at getting rid of? Do you know, obviously the likes of Grealish, he's got a big fat orange flag at him, so that's going to be a concern. But who are you thinking of shipping out if you were wildcard?
The whole left-hand side, Trent Alexander, Grealish, and Cavani. Now, Trent, he'll probably show me up, but you see, there's so much money in him, and it helps me move things around. So probably Trent, Grealish, Cavani, and I'll try and bring in Kane, maybe Barnes or Maddison, and then for a defender, I might even bring in Luke Shaw.
Yeah. Can you afford that? Did you check?
No, I don't know. Fuck, probably can't. But
that's only a -8, Paddy.
Yeah.
Do you know, that's my thing. And then all of a sudden, like, you're playing Gundogan, you're playing Taylor, so there's two of your Leeds players. I'd rather hold on to my... If that meant a -8, getting rid of Alexander-Arnold, Grealish and Cavani, and bringing in 3 fuck-off double game week players, like, I'd take the -8. I think they're playing twice, so it's kind of just, you know... Considering the 2 of the 3 players you're getting out most likely won't play twice, you know, it's kind of not a full -8. I do feel like there'll be a high... kind of average hit next week, like there usually is on a big double game week, at least a -4 kind of shared out. So I don't know. I mean, I'd be looking at a -8 before I'd be looking at the wild card.
Yeah, maybe you're right. You know, that's good. I do have a plan B as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Unlike Jurgen Klopp, I could get rid of Grealish, right? One transfer, and not even worry about getting any Spurs assets in, and then just bench boost.
Yeah. I mean, like that's. I mean,
what do you think of that bench boost there? Tell me the God's honest truth.
Bench boost. So basically, what you'd be bench boosting, what you're kind of looking at is 3 Villa players or 3 Leeds players playing once. That kind of reminds me of the Gameweek 19 bench boost when I saw a lot of people benching Villa against Brighton, and they went out in the last 1-0, and it scuppered them. So. If it was me, I think it's completely fine. I think we actually have a question about this in a while in regards to single players. I mean, I know what you're saying. Go without Spurs and just go, fuck them. They're playing Mourinho ball at the moment. I don't want any of that. I could see that. I could see you turning Grealish into someone, you know, a little, whatever, as you said, Maddison or Barnes, whatever Leicester asset you're looking at. And then maybe, you know, you upgrade the likes of a Mitchell or something like that. But I don't know. Bench boost is an option. Like you've got your head is going to be spun now by Saturday.
Oh, it's spinning already. This is the bench I have: McCarthy, Rafinha, Dallas, and Mitchell.
Yeah.
Mitchell's got a double game week, and we don't even know if he plays. And anyway, he's playing United as well in one of those.
Yeah, and anyone listening to this, if you've got comments about Paddy's team, he's basically an open box. Is that the word, Paddy?
I'm laying here like a starfish, just waiting.
It's Patrick the Starfish. That's completely unique. That's ours. No one's going to take that. But yeah, leave comments if you think, you know, if you've got any ideas what he should do with his team. But it's an interesting one. I think I'm looking forward to seeing how you got on with this next week and looking at the state of your team, because I think, you know, wildcard is definitely. It looks like a bit of an easy way out from where I'm sitting right now, Paddy. I won't lie to you. Because you talked about looking at 29. Like, who are you looking at in 29 team? Like, what teams are you looking at targeting that you're going to carry through between now and then? You know?
Right. Well, we'll fast forward 29 here a second, right? We've got 9, or we've got 1, 2, 3,
4 fixtures.
We've got eight teams, right?
Yeah.
I'd be really, you know, you want Spurs there, don't you?
That's the thing. So
yeah. And you'd want maybe Villa or Leeds. Most people have Leeds anyway, so you're not going to go on a full fucking, you know, bomb the whole team up if you've already got 3 Leeds. We've all kind of got pretty much a couple of Leeds assets.
Yeah.
So you're going to have your Leeds assets anyway. People are going to have Spurs assets as well. And then it's just a matter of, you know, maybe a Brighton defender, or, you know, you see, it's a pity about Grealish. Will Grealish be back for that? We don't know.
We don't know. They're talking. The rumors at the moment are like 4 weeks to 6 weeks. I guess only time will tell. I'm sure, you know, there'll be plenty of info between now and game week 29. But I know what you're saying. I just think that 29 for me anyway. I mean, it's different, I suppose, if you're wildcard and you're keeping that in the back of your mind. Because if you're wildcarding, you're not going to bench boost. You're probably going to have your team for 29 sitting there. Maybe, as you said, your Brighton. Because Brighton, even though they conceded 2 tonight, they've been pretty, like, ridiculously solid lately. They have Crystal Palace this week, West Brom in a singles next week, Leicester, Southampton, and Newcastle in 29. So as you said, like, that's a targetable kind of run of fixtures if you're willing to leave on the bench.
Yeah. And you know, you don't need to field a full 11, I don't think, for game week 29. And I wouldn't be using it if I had a free hit. I wouldn't be using it on game week 29 either. I don't think.
If I still had it at this stage, I'd definitely be using it on 29. But
would you?
I mean, at this stage, when are you not gonna? Do you know what I mean? Then at least no one can give you shit for Aubameyang.
Good point. But then what would you be going like 3 Leeds, 3 Arsenal, maybe, or 3 Tottenham, 3 Leeds?
Yeah.
Maybe mix it up there between Villa, Arsenal, Brighton. I don't know.
I mean, at the moment, like looking at my team, I have 2 Villa, I'll have 2 Spurs. There'll still be 2 Leeds, so that's 6 right there. And then I need to kind of basically make 27, 28, and 29 3 more changes. That'll bring me up to kind of 9. I might take a hit and bring me up to 10. I'll be happy with that.
Right, Jared, tell me, what do you think game week 29? What would be the minimum that you would go into 29 with
Minimum amount of players.
for everyone? Like, I mean, not just you. Like, what do you think would be the bare minimum, given with what We'll make up a team then with the minimum of what players.
I think
from what teams.
Anything less than 7, and you're really
Right.
pushing it a little bit. Do you know?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. 7 would be decent, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because I mean, you should be able to take enough hits that justify a few hits that would see you comfortably to 7 and above. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's every different kind of permutation of team out there, but anything less than 7, I'd be kind of going, I don't know. Maybe now's your. I mean, not it's not your wildcard time, but
Yeah.
you know.
No.
I mean, just going back to your team quickly there, Paddy. I was just kind of thinking about it as we were chatting around, and I'm looking at it there, and I'm thinking, what about if you just did your Grealish to whoever, and then upgraded Mitchell, and then your bench boost is looking a bit more solid in the sense that, you are still taking out 3 leads, but it's an okay match. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna wreck your head. It's already in the back of my mind. I'm thinking about it. I'm kind of going.
And you know what you've got me thinking now? If I am to get rid of Grealish, and anyone who is on Grealish, I'm hoping they can relate. Instead of maybe targeting Leicester, maybe I should be looking towards maybe a West Hammer, a player, a team that's in 29. If I'm not going to go the wild card, I should maybe start plucking in little players there as well.
Well, I'd only be looking at that if you are going to 29, if you are wildcarding, because West Ham have just a horrible fucking run of fixtures at the moment now. That's them play every team in and around them up there at the top 4, top 5.
Look, man, it is. Look, man, it is.
Yeah, look who's come crawling back all the way to Almola. Look, man. But I think it's going to be interesting seeing what state our teams are in next week. I got another question for you regarding double game week 26, Paddy. We're talking about all the players we want, all this kind of shit. What player do you know you're not going to be going into this double game week with that you were worried about?
Can I name 3?
You can name 3.
Right. This is bearing in mind that I'm not going in on a wild card, right?
Okay.
If I wasn't Kevin De Bruyne.
Okay.
Because it's either him or Salah. And I've got the Grealish problem.
Yeah.
So there's hits. Harry Kane, of course. And Son. There's 3 players there that, I may not have, that I will be fucking shitting the bricks watching. Just watching the rank going, wow.
Yeah, going, please don't, for the love of God.
What about you, Jer?
I think, as I mentioned, I'm kind of looking at benching Bamford and Rafinha. And if I do, I'll be shitting it about those guys. Also, someone who I know I definitely won't have, and someone that I would kind of want, is Ollie Watkins. I think Ollie Watkins, Leeds away, Sheffield United away. I like the look of the kid. I think he looks pretty, decent FPL wise. He's capable of big returns and even just tipping away. And with the potential game week 28 for Villa and the fixture in game week 29, he's someone that, if I was wildcarding, I'd be seriously looking at right now.
Right, I'll go devil's advocate with you here now, because this is the rumor mill, or the chit chat of the community as well. Will Watkins still be a great asset without Grealish?
That's a good point.
Is he going to be as threatening without Grealish? I don't know. Does he need Grealish to tick? Or
I guess this is the only time we'll find out this season. I mean, I know Grealish might have missed the odd fixture in so far, but in general, not this season.
Well, they beat Leicester without him.
Who beat Leicester without him?
I mean, who was Villa playing there? Sorry.
Villa,
Or they got
they
beat.
got
They
beat.
got beat
Yeah.
by Leicester without him. Yeah, sorry.
Exactly, yeah.
That's
So
what
they
I was
did,
saying.
as you mentioned, like, they didn't create a whole lot. Watkins, as I said, played it all right, especially in the first half. But yeah, I mean, it's one to consider. I don't know, like, this whole Grealish thing is really kind of like I'm happy. FPL content wise, not so much because it throws a big question mark in the air. But I got rid of Grealish last week, so I'm kind of fine. I'm like, swoop, avoided that one because I was already kind of
Yeah.
thinking like, do I go back towards Grealish or what's the story? But yeah, that's a good point. Like, will Grealish affect our output? I suppose that's what's going to kind of leave. At least if like, I won't have him in game week 26, and I know hopefully by game week the potential Newcastle Everton game week in 28 for Villa, that I'll be a bit more confident on whether I even want him in. But it's that game week 29 fixture that I'm kind of like, oh, it would cover such a sweet spot. But I'm with you. I'm with you,
Yeah.
Paddy. That's a good point. And Barkley didn't look like he's going to do much in Grealish's boots there at the weekend. He was pretty,
No.
you know.
And then we could look at McGinn. Maybe McGinn could be a little under the radar player. But just when saying we're on forwards here with Watkins and all, what about Calvert-Lewin? Like that double Southampton West Brom. He's back.
Oh, I'm there. I'm there, baby. I'm
You
DCL'd
have
up.
him?
Oh, I have DC. I got him in for that double, the double, whatever it was in 18 or 19 or something like that. And it was probably got him in mind. It was when everyone got him in for that Newcastle
Yeah.
blank, and then the West Brom match. Whatever, he had a nice run of fixtures. Ended up not getting that double in the end, but that's what I got him in for. And he's still sitting there. And he picked up a nice assist this week against Liverpool, as Everton, got a big
Yeah,
monkey off their
did he
back.
come off the bench or something? Or
He did
yeah,
indeed, yeah.
that was the game. I dropped him for 24 and of course 25. But there's so many forwards I'd love going into this double game week 26. DCL, Watkins, Ings, Bamford.
But that
You know,
kind of brings us nicely to like the next bit of the double game week, and probably the last talking point on it is the captaincy and who people are looking at. And I mean, you mentioned Everton there, like DCL. He's a massive shout. Home match
yeah,
against Southampton and away match against West Brom. Neither team super solid right now. Everton, just after beating their biggest rivals, ending a big drought or a big whatever record that they had on their
yeah.
back. They'll be looking to kick on. DCL's looking kind of healthy again. He got 20 minutes against Liverpool. He's currently my vice captain. Put it that way,
There,
Paddy.
there's a wealth of options there for going into this next game week. I didn't actually mean to say Bamford. I meant to say Vardy as well.
Yeah,
There's a wealth of options going into this game week. It's an exciting game week going into. Like there's so many different options. There's so many different permutation. I can't say the fucking word. What's that word?
permutations.
Permutations. There's so many of those. It's like I'm actually probably going to go in a wild card after this podcast. And you know what? I'll post it under the link if I do. But there's just so many exciting things to do.
What I like about, or what not what I like, but my approach to these double game weeks and these big, massive kind of seminal weeks in an entire FPL season, and that's what this is. In the big picture, this is like, as I said, probably going to be one of those big old weeks that everyone's talking about, everyone's been building towards, and I just tend to huddle down. Like if you're on a fucking canoe and everything's rocky, you just want to stay as still as possible. And if I can get out of this where I am now, not having a big fat raid, and I think that's should apply to most people. Like if you just don't fuck this up, then you should be kind of, there's still plenty of time in the season to chip away then at, kind of.
Yeah, this is quite an important time. Yeah, like such a time to be thrown onto a podcast. Imagine the audacity of Seamus to have a baby around this time. Like,
Almost
but
as if he planned it, Paddy.
yeah, well, he fucking did. And but it's great. It's actually I love this. I was saying to you off the air. I think it's kind of like therapy for me. I get my ideas and get out here to you and to the listeners because I haven't been doing much planning. I'm kind of having a little glance here and there, but I know when I get on the podcast that I'm going to be just getting everything off my brain, getting rid of some of the brain fart ideas I have, and maybe getting some good stuff done then on my team.
Yeah, no, I think it's nice, and it's definitely, like I was talking to you off air as well. regarding last week and how we got on. I mean, that was our first time even having a face-to-face chat. I mean, we've been chatting away on messages and all this kind of shit, obviously, for a couple of years. But I mean, in terms of a proper face-to-face sit-down, that was our first time even doing that last week. So, it was a bit, what way is this going to work? But I don't know. I find chatting to you is like you're hitting me with a load of questions that I think sometimes myself and Seamus can take for granted. Do you know that kind of way? Like, oh, fucking, I know the answer to that, or I know what he's gonna say, so I won't ask it. But with yourself, it's pretty refreshing. You hear that, Seamus? He's keeping your seat warm, and he might not be fucking giving it up. Your fucking number's called, McCarthy.
I know, I hear you. It's good because I have been off the air now for a while, and it's good to do an odd podcast and stuff and see, and bounce off each other and get some ideas out there. And hopefully the listeners are getting the same, because I think we're not the only ones that are thinking these things. These are our thoughts we're putting out there out loud, like, so it's so good to get them out there.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of thoughts, that is actually what, before we do it, back to this captaincy, because we kind of skipped over it.
Right, go to captaincy. Let's nail the captaincy.
Yeah, who is your head on this week for captaincy? You can pick whoever you want, wild cards.
Right, on my bus team at the moment, I always do that. I stick the captaincy on, whenever right after during the game week's happening.
Yeah.
It's on Salah for some crazy fucking reason. It's on Salah.
Okay.
But I'm looking over at Gundogan, West Ham and Wolves. I'm looking at Gundogan or Salah. Like, I'm looking at these options here. Like, without a wild card, I'm on my team, that is Gundogan. But Jesus, if you have Harry Kane or Son, it's going to be one of those, or probably fucking.
Assuming you could pick anyone in the game right now, so you are on a wild card or money's not an option. Who you put in the captaincy's armband on?
If I had Harry Kane in my team, it would be going on Harry Kane.
All right. Well, that's.
I'd be playing it safe.
You think that's playing it safe?
Well, I don't know. I think he's going to be the most captained player in our little bubble, community bubble, and yeah, he does have a. What's the double there? Who are they playing again?
Burnley and Fulham away. Burnley at home, Fulham away.
Burnley at right. Do you know what? I'm right on the scout here. I'm just going to do the vote. I'm going to just see who the top... Right, who do you think is going to be the biggest captain this week then, Jer? I have it up here in front of me just for the crack.
I think Fernandes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a good captaincy shout too, Chelsea and Crystal Palace. At the moment, leading the scout poll with 485 votes is Harry Kane.
Okay.
And second is Bruno Fernandes and Gundogan third. But now, we can't always go by these polls because there are 8 million players in the game, but it's just a little kind of.
The scout poll is pretty decent in terms of like 485. Yeah. They've probably just released that recently, and I mean that's gonna go up. I get it. I feel like I just don't know.
You're on Bruno anyway. Are you on Bruno?
No, I'm on. As I said, I'll be getting in Harry Kane this week. So
you're going Harry Kane.
I'm going Harry Kane. Yeah, I'm kind of playing devil's advocate a little bit, just because my head is saying Bruno because. He's on insane form. He's, on penalties, 2 away matches. We know what his away record is like. He's basically, there's no reason not to captain him. There's just, could you get more out of Kane? Do you know that kind of way? So for me, as I mentioned already,
so you're loving Fernandes there at the moment, though.
How could you not be? I mean, you saw another 12 points.
I have to say, Lee, that's a beautiful beard you have.
Who?
So I shouldn't have called you Lee. So you're going Kane then,
I see what you're doing. I thought
Are you going Bruno or are you going Kane?
I'm going to go Kane. Right. I'm going to be going.
Oh,
Kane.
That's sexy. So I think Kane is going to be the big one.
Yeah. That's fair enough. But my head is still like I don't know. Maybe I'm just kind of a little bit pissy with this week and kind of going Fernandes. Single game week, putting us to shame. I'm still happy I went with Bamford, regardless of what happens. But it's definitely making me doubt not going with Fernandes next week for a double. And as you said, like Salah as well. I mean, we know what he's capable of. He's also on fucking penalties. I mean, this could be an absolute
This could be him. This could be the week where we all sell Salah for De Bruyne, and Salah does what he does best: fucking ruins you.
Yeah, I won't be
Ruins
fucking
you.
selling Salah. He's staying there all the way for me, and I know
Yeah, but
FPL drunk, or as he's sometimes referred to as Seamus. He's talked about getting rid of Salah to fund a move for Kane. I know if that was my question, not a hope would I be doing that. I'd be just
yeah.
sticking with Salah. But yeah, there's definitely the Salah naysaying is kind of creeping back up in volume a little bit. But yeah, that's pretty much double game week 26 out of the way. We are nearly done, but we've got a couple of questions to power through before we do. And yeah, up first is Nuclear Atoms at atoms_nuclear. He has asked us this week, Paddy, should I take a hit to bring in Madison and Target for Grealish and Kufal and then activate the bench boost? With these transfers in place, I'll end up having 14 double game week players. So it's up there on the screen. Sorry, it took me a second to realize what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, you're right. So he wants to take a hit, a -4, to bring in Madison and Target for Grealish and Kufal. Who's Kufal playing again? Sorry.
Kufal is West Ham's fullback, and he's got a single game week. I don't know, but I know that no one's really looking. He'll probably be on the bench if he didn't. It's West Ham are playing. Oh, Paddy, you put me on the spot.
You're all right. Just waffle on. I'd see it's just important because I want to know who is it worth the minus to bring him in. And I see I don't have any West Ham players anymore in my own team.
Yeah, West Ham are playing City this week.
Oh, right. Well, so what? No. It was because you're going to bench boost then.
So I've got his team up, right? So Nuclear's content eating machine. He's always fucking asking questions, and his team is here. It's in front of me. It's a pretty, solid team, very similar to my own and yours, Paddy. It's got all the classics in it. I'm not seeing any absentees, but he does have Grealish. Kufal sitting on the bench. He's also got Watkins, Diaz, Martinez, Pope, Rudiger. So he's single game week players. Yeah, he wouldn't. He'd have 14, as you mentioned, 14 and Bamford. Yeah.
Oh, yes. He's bringing in Madison and Target for Grealish and Kufal. Yeah, so sorry, I thought he was bringing in Kufal. So he's getting rid of the guy that's playing City. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for that. I mean, I usually...
Yeah, no, I'm for it as well. Bench boost then as well. So you're basically covering that hit, and you could grab something with it. So nothing wrong with that on a double. Hey, there's nothing wrong with a hit on a double game week.
I agree, 100%. Especially if you're playing your bench boost and he's getting out there for those 2 games anyway. It's like, no, fuck it. I like the sound of that. Nuclear. That sounds pretty solid. Next up is Helen Zoe, an original gangster of this show. She's been asking us questions for yonks. It's glad to hear from her again. She must have heard that Seamus was on paternity leave, and that's why she's jumped back on. Is Kane a must, or could I just get Son in for Grealish on a free transfer?
Son for Grealish on a free transfer.
You think so?
Well, it's a tough one. Like, Kane's probably going to be the most captained player this game week. Yeah. But if you have to go -4 and jigging around to get him, you're going to want him then to, I suppose, the double game week. Here we go again. I would look. Come here. Personally, I think one of them would be enough.
I'm with you. That's kind of one of those ones where I'm going. If it makes things a lot easier, where your team's already set up. You're happy with your forward line, you don't really need to start ripping it up, because that's one thing with me is what I'm talking about is exchanging Brewster for Kane, and all of a sudden then I'm going to start asking questions of my defenders and my strikers and my midfielders, like who am I benching this week, which is something I didn't have to do with Brewster, because he was just an automatic bencher.
Just fucking on the bench and that's it.
But with that, just get Son in for Grealish, straight fucking swap, no worry and no ripping shit up. I like that too. I'm all thumbs up this evening, Petty.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. And you know what? You can get Kane in, if you want, the next game week or whatever for no hits.
That's true. That's a good point.
Because you might want as many. You might want them in for game week 29 anyway. So
if you're like me though, you'd be too bitter. If he delivered this week, and then I'm just not doing it. I'm like, nope, done now. Made my mind up.
It's just one of those things, isn't it? It's like, always go with your gut. No matter what, don't do what I say or Jared. Go with your gut. But what I would probably do, I would just get Son in
Yeah, I'm with you, Paddy.
Yeah.
Last question this week. It's from Kean himself, FPL Uncorked. He's asking, where the fuck am I after putting it? But he's asking basically, should after misplacing the question.
How many single game weekers he's on about?
That's it.
Is acceptable basically, Jer, to have if you're going to bench boost. What, do you want to go first on that? I couldn't give a fuck. I would just go all. I'm even thinking about bench boosting because if it's a good enough game week, do you have his team there?
I don't have it up there, but I mean, basically, he's asking about leads. That seems to be the general gist of it. And I don't know if we touched on this before, just there a while ago, or if we've already were chatting about it. But Keane's basically saying, how many single game weekers would you consider acceptable for a double game week bench boost? For me, I'd say. I'm fine with 3. As long as you have a playing goalkeeper and 15 players, I don't think you have to worry too much about, how many is double, how many is single. I think if you're happy with the fixtures and you think they can get a haul in that, then that's all that really should matter. Like for me, my sub keeper's trash. I have Mitchell, so I don't have 15 players I'm happy with, let alone 15 double game weekers. I'd be happy playing the likes of, Bamford, Rafinha, West Ham. If that was, one of your strikers, you're like, I'm not getting rid of him. If you've got Antonio sitting there, I have no problems playing Antonio in any game.
Exactly. And we've made a wild assumption that it's 2 leads. It probably is 2 or 3 leads, isn't it?
If I know Keane, and I don't.
And they're playing Villa. I would fucking go for it.
I know.
Why not?
It's not what I want to hear, Paddy. I've got 2 Villa defenders playing this week, and
they're fucking ruined.
Yeah, I know. I'm fully sure they're going to fucking concede left, right, and centre now.
Yeah, probably would. I probably would do that. Yeah. I wouldn't get. 3 single game week players. If he's got a full double game week team, why not?
Yeah, no, that's
it's all a bonus.
That's exactly the way I'm looking at it. So that is a wrap on the questions. I do want to point out that we finally delivered our mug to Alan Fruity Finucane, who won our mini league last year, Paddy. We've been basically we got the fucking mugs before the whole season started, and just with everything, Seamus never bothered his whole sending it, and even though it was a Limerick man that won the fucking
too busy
thing.
making babies.
Too busy making fucking babies. Yeah, and now that he's had the baby, first thing he's done, he's gone off. So
couldn't wait to get out of the house. He's away posting mugs.
Yeah. It's important business work.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Seamus.
So I'm glad to see Alan's enjoying a cup of coffee there. It's a weekday, so he's behaving himself.
Swan.
And that brings us on to the mini league, Paddy.
Yeah.
Might as well do a touch on the mini league. We didn't do it last week. I know I'm probably throwing all these things that you do there now that you're not expecting, but we didn't touch on it last week, and that's because. I think there was still a match left or something like that last week, and I
think my battery was going to die on the laptop as well. I had to rush off.
I wouldn't be surprised if the fucking internet cuts out now the way things are going.
It's a lovely mug there that Alan Fruity has.
You like it? You see, you got a picture of it?
Just having a look there.
Yeah, that's not even showing the fancy other stuff. We bought a special one just for Alan. We got a few mugs in. There's actually a mug. Probably should be doing this far more professionally, but there is a mug on offer for whoever wins the month of February, Paddy. So we bought a set of our own mugs and a special one for the mini league champion last year. And
lovely. I just do question, why did he leave the spoon in it for the picture? Would it looked a bit better without the spoon as well. So I don't mean to be some kind of fucking photo critic, but
it's too late, Paddy. You've already entered into this now.
Like fucking spoon sitting in it.
Well, there you have it, folks. Send in your pictures of cups and let Paddy judge them here.
FPL, tell FPL's strategist to keep his fucking pictures away, though. Did you see the state of some of his mugs?
I know that you were giving him stick about his mugs, so this is
fuck me.
Past behaviour for you, Paddy.
Yeah. We'll say no more.
We'll say no more. But what we will say nice things about, Paddy, is the FPL Hangover mini league. I I did a bit of owl scouting on it now today, and there isn't much that's going to really happen between. I'm in third, and the two lads ahead of me. There isn't a whole rake of differences. They've got same captains, all the same kind of players. So
where's Chieftain?
Where's Chieftain?
He's probably got those Spurs blinkers on. He's
not in the front.
The bottom.
He's not in the first page, Paddy. So I can't tell you where he is.
Oh my goodness!
Unless he is, and I've just missed him. I think, and if I've just missed him, I deeply apologise.
Nah, if he's not in the first page, forget about him. Don't even go looking.
But our top place is FPL Renegades. Drew, Paddy, who I'm talking
he's
about.
flying. He's flying, yeah.
Yeah, he's smashed in it again this week, 63 so far. He is also after having a little baba as well, so a big...
Oh, Jesus, congratulations. Yeah. He's got a lot on his plate. I see their podcast is being ripped off too by Barack Obama, and...
it was only a matter of time.
Yeah, it was. The copyright big case coming up. But congratulations on the baby.
Yes, exactly. Big congratulations to Drew over there. I'm sure it doesn't compare to being top of the FPL Hangover mini league, but nonetheless, second place, Flying Without Ings, Camarul Arfin. I'm in third. Fourth place, Giggs, Bosun, Michael Haywood. Fifth place, Game of Thrones, Abel Grant, and in sixth place, Ken's Rogues FC, Ken Corbally. That mug is coming out to you, Ken. We've shown you proof that we do send things. So eventually that will be heading your way. And that's the mini league. As I mentioned, that's the overall. We are running the February prize. And will you look at who's top of the mini league for February. This is the first time I've clicked on it, Paddy. Seamus is sitting pretty.
For fuck's sake.
I know.
Seamus.
And in second place is me. So I can't give him too much shit.
Well, if either one of you win the mug, I hope that you put a nice picture with a spoon up of it.
I won.
Maybe the spoon comes with the mug and he's just fucking showing it off as well. Is that what it is?
No, I can't take credit for the spoon. That's all his spoon.
You know what? I'm going on too much about this fucking spoon. I'm sorry.
It's really got you, Paddy. It's really got you. But yeah, that's all the talking points. We've done the questions. We did the mini league. We've basically sorted everyone's entire double game week out. You're fucking welcome. Am I right, Paddy?
Jesus, we got everything off our chests there. Like, if you can't figure out a team with the information you got here, you're playing the wrong game.
It's on you. It's on you if you can't figure out a team.
It's not our fault.
We've done absolutely everything. And with that in mind, I would like to remind you all once again that if you could, and I'll subscribe, that would be great. And whatever you watch this on, Spotify, YouTube, all of the fucking usual shit, just, thumbs up, reviews, that does help a little bit. Tell your mates, get us out there. And, Paddy, have you got any goodbyes you'd like to wish or anything you'd like to say before we wrap up?
Not really. Just had a good fun time. So thanks for having me again.
You might come back next week as well, Paddy, will you?
Well, sure. If you need me, I'm here. I'll give you some. I'm always available.
Yeah, I just don't. I think now that people have gotten used to your Donegal twang, it's gonna be missed.
Yeah, I hear you. And you know what? Like, they've probably forgotten about Seamus already.
Who do you say? It's been brilliant having you on.
It's always an honor, and no bother, lads. I'm always available if you still have me.
Perfect. If you do want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us on Twitter at FPL Hangover. Paddy, what's your Twitter handle?
I keep forgetting. At FPL Viking, I think it is. Give me one. At FPL Viking _
Absolute disgrace that you don't have that tattooed in your forehead.
When I done that.
But yes, so FPL Hangover, Paddy that FPL Viking _ You can also send us an email on fplhangover@gmail.com. But that's it. Everything's wrapped up. Hope you enjoyed the episode, everybody. Enjoy double game week 26, and God bless.